Hi everyone, I'm Charlotte Krijger from YAYA Kombucha in Amsterdam, and I'm here today to talk to you about the 20 things nobody ever told me about running a kombucha brand and brewery. Some of these things may sound familiar to you, and probably other things won't. So one of the first things nobody ever told me before starting a kombucha brewery is that someday I will present our story at a Kombucha Summit. So in this picture you see me in 2017, right after our launch and our first brewery space that we set up. It was on a Sunday, and this was about amount of boxes we will produce in a week and that we will bottle on a Sunday. About 400 liters, which is for us 88 boxes. And but at that time we would do everything by ourselves, but mostly in evenings and weekend days, because Monday through Friday I would have my other office job. And Monday through Friday, to give you a little bit of background, I would do something completely different. And I have a background in working for online advertising and media companies, specialized in social media. So everything online and very not tangible, like production. Working in this creative industry, I was very used to work on projects, creative projects, with a team, sitting behind my laptop, doing a lot of meetings, doing a lot of emailing, and also creative work. But no one ever told me that the biggest moment would not be our launch. So working in this creative industry and working on creative projects, for me, working on our product and our product range was a creative project. And I was very used to starting a project, so creating, in this case, a flavor, a sweet and sour balance that we know from kombucha, and also a range in different beautiful colors. And also, of course, picking a bottle. So this is our bottle now. Be creative with your label. First, we thought maybe it would be cool to have our labels always. And later on, we picked a couple colors that was inspired by vintage bikes that would fit every single flavor. This is our core range now. I'm sure you've seen or tried it at the bar yesterday or today. And launching these products was for me, or at least emotionally, like the biggest achievement, doing this kombucha thing, this kombucha brand and kombucha brewery. I'm still very proud of this today, but for me it really felt like, oh, the biggest thing is done. Little did I know that it was only just beginning, and there were many, many more, way more difficult projects to come, and also big achievements. Like, nobody ever told me that kombucha comes with a bit of a manual. You're so deep in this kombucha thing. I love kombucha, and you all love kombucha. Your world, is kombucha. And it's very difficult to understand that some people think it's a little weird. The name in itself, people find it difficult to pronounce and long. And also it tastes a little bit funny. It smells funny. Like, why on earth would I drink this? And why is it so expensive? It's just tea, right? Nobody ever told me that building a kombucha brewery, you have to get used to getting your hands really, really dirty all the time. I always worked hard, but working hard in an office means you have to do a lot of emails, you have to do a lot of long-hour meetings, and still I have to say, building this brand, it's still part of it, but I was not used to working in a brewery. So typically, in the beginning, Tom and myself would go to the brewery on weekends, and the first thing we would do is hold a meeting. What should we do today? Instead of getting to work. Folding boxes, cleaning, lifting heavy stuff. You have to get strong and physical and really get to work. And And at the end of the day, like, this is a photo of one of our scobies. And especially if you grow, you have a lot of SCOBY. You still have to remove like 100 kilo SCOBY from your brew, which can get really, really dirty. Nobody ever told me that most people just won't understand. You're working 2 jobs, you're working very hard, you try to explain to everyone what you're doing. People follow you on Instagram, but just they seem to not understand. This year we moved to a bigger location, and we had a big construction project that we just finished not too long ago, a couple weeks ago actually. And the last month was crazy to finish up everything. And after 21 days of straight work, a lot of pizza, little sleep, an empty fridge. My first day off, I would go to the grocery store to finally fill up the fridge again. And I bump into an old friend, and he says, "Oh, I love what you're doing, it's so cool. I follow you on Instagram and see what you guys are doing. I even saw the big machines coming in. It's really awesome." And then he asked me, "So how's your social media job doing?" I'm like, "Huh? I'm working 80 hours a week, just doing kombucha." I wish somebody told me that there's no cute in business. So when Tom and I started YAYA Kombucha in 2017, I thought it was smart to file our brand for trademark, which is actually smart, and I would definitely recommend. But I thought it was too expensive to hire legal expertise and a lawyer. And I don't know if you've done it before, but if you file for a trademark, you can choose from a lot of categories. And me being very enthusiastically, I filed for a lot of categories. Iced tea, ginger beer, normal beer, whatever, everything. So what happened is that we came into a legal dispute. Everything in the end worked out, but we lost a lot of time. It lasted for about a year before we actually got our trademark in the Netherlands, Benelux, and now in Europe. So it was just a waste of time. Of course, now we have a great legal advisor, and he helps us with about everything, even contracts and etc. And we do everything by the book, so now everything is under control, right? Little did I know that this is the new normal. Crazy things happen that you don't expect, and all at the same time. And every month or every now and then I think like, okay, now it's, getting normal again. But this is the new normal. And how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it? I still don't know. So what can happen in sometimes a day, but also sometimes a week or a couple days, is crazy things happen at the same time. So one example is that we got a very big client win, which makes you very happy, obviously. But at the same time, the same day, after 8 months of waiting, a truck enters your premises. They come to deliver machines, which is very important, otherwise you can produce. And the truck is unloading, and you notice, because of the transport, the machines are heavily damaged. So what do you do at the end of this week? Do you open up champagne to celebrate your big win of a client? Or do you cry? I do both.
Your tears are made of champagne.
My tears are made of champagne. Thank you, Dennis. Something no one ever told me is that you will sell out all the time. Actually, this is something that somebody told me before. That's why I want to share this. You all know him, it's Sebastian from Mananova. He said to us, "Don't worry, you'll be really great and you'll sell out all the time." And I thought he was just being supportive and nice. But he was right, and we didn't listen. So we moved to 3 different locations in 3 years, which costed a lot of money and a lot of time. So if Sebastian has given you the same advice, you might want to listen to him. I wish somebody told me that a small company is actually not so small. So maybe you think like, oh yeah, that's selling out. You know, I'm really small and also I don't have the ambition to become a very big company or go commercial. I want to stay very authentic. But what is a small company? Because I believe that YAYA Kombucha is still a very small company. Tom and I started off with the two of us. For the first year, it was just him and me and the help of my amazing dad on Sundays and the help of some friends as well. And only after almost 2 years, we were able to hire more people. Now we're a small team, a core team of 5. So we hired an operations manager, a brewer, and a quality manager. That's our core team. But no one ever told me that you need way more people to build a brewery, like a welder. From day one, we've been working with a great welder that we found, looking very hard, who is specialized in stainless steel for food, and that has worked for Heineken Brewery. All of you know Heineken. And what he did is he actually designed and created our first filling machine. Later on, he made our brew house, so where we make our tea and where we make our flavors. And now, every 2 weeks, he's working on this project or that project. So yeah, he's kind of part of the team, but he's not our core team. And the difficult thing is that you cannot find these people on Google. They don't have websites. So you have to build your network. And it can take a little while. And if you're a fast-growing kombucha brewery, like us and probably yourselves, how do you fill? How do you get all the work done? Nobody told me that your competitor can be your greatest ally. So when we started off in Amsterdam and the Netherlands, we were the only ones, and it was very hard to find anyone to collaborate with. And now with all you here, but also more producers in the Netherlands closer by, we found that it really can be your greatest ally. So in our last move that I just explained, we had to construct our new brewery for half a year. And because we're used to doing everything in-house from the beginning, and we really aim to do everything in-house, we had to outsource our filling capacity for half a year, which was very scary. I didn't like to do that, but we had to. And we were very lucky that another kombucha brewer was willing to help us out for this half a year. And still now that we work with other people, that we share ideas, that we share contacts, we even sometimes share equipment. And yeah, it's really awesome because it's impossible to do everything by yourself and to build a category in your country or in your area by yourself. Something, I guess no one could ever tell me this, and no one could ever expect, is that only in Europe, the last year, 3 different glass factories either burned down or shut down. 3 different glass factories. It's crazy, but it happened. So as a result, there's a massive glass shortage in the whole of Europe. And we had to buy our complete bottle need for last year, this year, but also next year. You don't have to pay everything in front, but you have to sign a contract that you'll buy the total bottle need. And if this is complete news to you, I hope not, you might want to talk to your factory or the supplier of your bottles, or quickly change the cans. Hopefully this will come out later this year. I wish somebody told me that increasing your production volume is not that easy. I mean, we can all, I guess, understand that it's not so easy to scale up kombucha, but maybe you think, yeah, I've never done it before, that's why it's not easy. Increasing your production for kombucha brew is very different from, let's say, a beer brewer. A beer brewer can just buy more ingredients, brew more beer, right? For us, it's more difficult because in essence, we make a tea, and this base is used either way for a product that is filled in a bottle and sold, or you can let it become more sour, and you use it as a starter for your next brew. So what do you do if you're selling out and you can't brew any more starters and not more kombucha? So we faced this dilemma more than once, and we had to make the decision more than once to not take on any more clients and to save all the kombucha to become starter and to scale up our production. And in the end, we're very happy we did that, but it was, yeah, a crazy moment. By the way, this is Tom and myself about a year ago in our cold room. This is also from Heineken. I think it's from the 80s. It's a very old tank. It's a pressure tank because at the time we didn't have money for a bright tank, which is much better. And the difference is that this pressure tank doesn't have a jacket, so it needs to be in a cold room, so in cold area to cool the product. And this is the first time that we filled it with 1,000 liters of product. And before that, we were just filling with kegs, a lot of kegs. In the time that you're waiting for, if you're scaling up for your product to get nice and sour, to make a lot of starter, you might as well in this time become a master in logistics. I mean, you have to learn a lot of things becoming a kombucha brewery and brand. And logistics is just one of them. Logistics is a completely different language and IT. I found it one of the most difficult things to learn because it's a completely different world. I don't know if you've touched upon EDIs, which is basically an IT system for logistics that all retailers use. There's 3 different names for barcodes. I have no idea why. There's all these abbreviations and you have to learn them. But hey, you can learn about everything, right? Which is awesome. But what if you run out of money? Because nobody ever told me that you always need more money as you grow. In the beginning, we thought, hey, we would just make more product, we sell more, we make more money for us, right? Doesn't really work like that. So what it is that happens is you'll grow, so you have to buy more ingredients, you have to make more investments in equipment, and of course if you move, you have more, it costs money as well. But it means that it's a negative thing for your cash flow. So the faster you grow, you have to invest more in your stock, you have more outstanding payments, and you need more money all the time. So nobody ever told us that you're way ahead, you, me, everyone here, ahead of the European beverage industry, for now at least. We're all doing this kombucha thing, and even though it's a pretty big crowd, it's still quite small, and we're all new to the game. I'm sure you all have your clients, like your cafes, restaurants, shops that support you, but the bigger chains, and especially the retail, they're way more reactive. They'll wait for the bigger crowds to embrace kombucha, and it's still very unknown. And it will take some time for them to actually be open to step into kombucha and your brand as well. So this is something we did to be very creative, but you have to be creative and patient as well. And this is something bold we did on the canals of Amsterdam. We had 16 of these, where we just printed a big poster of all our flavors. And then it was summer, so everyone that biked past it or was cruising the canals in a boat will see our brand. So be creative and be patient and build a relationship. Something no one ever told us is that a floor with drainage is totally worth it. This is our new brewery. This was our goal from the beginning, but we had to wait years to get drainage. We didn't have any drainage, so we would just mop the floor for hours, put everything in a bucket, and roll it outside. I wish somebody told me that new machines can take up a year to be delivered. So the first ones, they were delivered heavily damaged, and our new machines that are now in our new space, the factory will always tell you like, oh, 5-6 months they will come. And after 5-6 months, you're like, okay, great, so what is the pickup date? And say, yeah, maybe a couple more weeks. And when you hear this message a couple times, you'll take a plane to Italy to see how far they got after 7 months. And this is how far they got. This is where Tom and I still laughing, which was a funny moment actually. But inside I was dying. Now the machines got in and everything works fine, so we're happy. But it was quite stressful. So it takes a lot of time. Something no one ever told me starting a kombucha brewery and brand is still you get real fans. I told you before that I used to work on social media, so I understand what is a fan base, especially online. But fans that react and share stories about something you've created with something that is so close to you, with so much love and energy, is really, really awesome and really keeps us going every day. Something somebody or no one ever told me is that you'll be surrounded by amazing people all the time. This is the team, the core team of people that work with us on a daily basis. And most people actually found us. We didn't even put up a job post or anything, but people love kombucha and they'll come to you. But also your clients and suppliers, you'll build a network of people that support you and that you'll have to grow your business with. And also yourselves. I mean, for me, it's been an amazing experience to be here with all of you. All of you are kombucha lovers, and it makes me a little bit feel less crazy to do this thing with all you here. So thank you.
Whoa!
Hi, I'm Andrea from Italy. I wanted to ask what was the feedback with the sign on the channels of Amsterdam? How did the people come to you and ask what is this kombucha stuff, or yeah?
Well, it's a little bit different from like online advertising, where you can actually see the feedback, and here it's a little bit more distance, right? So we got photos in from people who saw it on the canals, but I have to say we're mostly friends, so people you already know. And I think it was awesome also because it was only for 2 weeks, but like this photo, but we had other photos as well, so we made photos and we used it in presentations for potential clients, etc. Just to show them, even though it's already taken off, you can use it as a way to show them like what you can do to not just support your own brand, but also support their sales.
Hi, Damien from France. Thank you for the talk. One of my questions is, how do you handle this money issue? Constantly need more cash flow. And it's a real issue. Like you banks, private investors, how do you do that?
Good question. There's not been a time in the past 2 years that we were not working on getting more funds. That's the reality. And we tried literally everything. So we started off with our own savings. I was lucky to have savings, and that was our start. Later on, we found a private company that was willing to lease some of our equipment and machines, like in our first and second space. Then we did crowdfunding. After that, we started working with the bank, also for lease, and then we had some loans also from private owners and family, and like everything you can imagine is what we've done. Yeah. Be creative, I guess.